I started building Samantha, my AI agent, and Bard, her assistant, about 3 months ago. And I started with just about a 4-line prompt of this is what I want to know about this stock, and help me out if you can. And she gave me some information and I acted on it and I moved on it. Well, about 45 days ago, my large language platform came out with a new level of research, and then my cost went up from $20 a month to about $225 a month. And I said, well, I'll give it a shot and I'll see what it'll do. And it blew my socks off. She started giving me, rather than 3-4 page reports, 15, 25 page reports. And then my prompts start getting longer. It's up now to about a page and a half. And what I realized was that she's good for up until the last 30 days. There's a lag there. So I started giving her access to some of the data that I purchase to help her get more information and more timely information to help me make better decisions. And then I increased my demands on her. Not only did I want to know what the price of the stock was going to be on January the 2nd of 2026, but 7, 8, and then more recently, how about 2030? And then I also said, now give me a scenario of conservative, moderate, and aggressive. And then more recently, I've asked, give me a ranking or a score between 1 and 100, with 100 being the most certain, of the probability of you achieving or me achieving the 100% growth over 3 years in this stock. And so it's gotten very, very good. Well, the proof is in the results. So what has happened is she identified growth stocks, and that's what I've asked her to do. I don't want a dividend stock, and I don't want a large manufacturing company with all kinds of overhead that are going to, and executives that are flying in private jets and offices and on the corner of high rises. I didn't want that. And so we've got about 40 stocks right now that we invested in, and what's happened is they're starting to kick in, because most of these, a certain element of these companies are the hyper growth companies that are going to benefit from AI in some respect, whether it be a data center or a GPU or a CPU or some form of new wafer or some wafer cleaning substance or some pharmaceutical that is going to benefit as a result. And so with that in mind, we're into the 17th day of this month, and we're up some 10% from where we were on the first of the month, and it's accumulating. And as I watch my portfolio score growth on a daily basis, we're running twice ahead of the QQQs. So if they're up 1.5%, we're up 3%. And I understand it's because we aren't diversified. The QQQs, I don't know, maybe they've got 700 stocks in it. We've got 30, maybe 40 on some days. And then what more recently, if you saw my yesterday's video, I went to her and said, okay, here is what we've got. Here's how many shares I've got in each of these stocks. Now what I want to know is how should I rebalance the portfolio to make sure, or to give more potential or probability that we hit the double. And what she said was, you know, you need to keep your Amazon, Google, Apple, Microsoft, and Meta, but they aren't going to give you a 100% return over the next 3 years. So you're going to have some stocks that get you 300% return to make up for them. And that's what she's doing. And she's suggesting that we make some cuts here and some adds there, and maybe discard some, or maybe add to some. She gave us a few stocks we needed to look at. And then the other benefit I have is I have a tribe of about 1,000 people who follow me on YouTube and Instagram and TikTok, and then come to my website and make suggestions. They say, what about this stock? And again, if it doesn't reach my rule of 40, I'm not interested. And if you don't know what a rule of 40 is, it's a stock that is showing over the next 3 years, in my definition, over the next 3 years, a 20% or more growth in revenues and a 20% growth or more in earnings per share. Now, if in fact it doesn't make the earnings per share because they're not profitable, but they have a 200% growth average over the next 3 years in revenues, I'll take a deep look at it and turn it over to Samantha and tell me exactly what they do and what share of the market they have and why we should or shouldn't believe that they're going to be a hyper growth stock in the future, which will then push our portfolio higher to make up for the Amazon, Google, Microsofts, and Teslas. So that's how I'm going about it. And what I want to do is autonomize this whole thing, autonomize, so that in fact, when next quarter comes around, next earnings period, Samantha is programmed, because that's what has to happen. She is programmed to automatically go in and analyze all 40 of the stocks and then send me the analysis so that I can then interpret it and place it on my tell sheet. And so in order to do that, I need more members in my tribe. That's the plain and simple of it. In other words, it's a crowdfunding. Well, what does the crowdfunding cost, Kerry? Well, it's a whopping less than $1 a day. Otherwise, $29.95 a month. So in essence, what I'm offering you is a buy-in opportunity to make yourself a multimillionaire, particularly if you're young. And again, I don't presuppose that we will be able to keep up the pace we have in the first 16 days of the month. And I would ask you to compare it to your portfolio. Have you made over 10% in the first 16 days of this month? If you have, you don't need me. Okay, you've got it in place. But for less than $1 a day, I'll bring you on the bus, and we'll grow this. And then we'll go out and hire the technicians we need, the engineers we need to autonomize it. Much like Elon's autonomizing his automobiles, I need to autonomize my tell sheet. And I want you to have access. Why do I want you? Why don't I just keep this all to myself? Well, first of all, I get a kick out of it. I'm a retired financial advisor. This is how I made my living. Not really. All I did was gather assets and put it in mutual funds and ETFs. None of that anymore. With the knowledge that is available to me through the data I can purchase, I don't need to own a mutual fund or an ETF or an S&P 500 ETF. No, because the knowledge is available to me to make a better decision. I mean, I don't care what it is you're betting on, and that's exactly what the stock market is. It is a casino with some very strict rules, but and there is a owner who has an advantage called Wall Street, but the playing field has been leveled, and I think I'm ahead of the game. And at least Samantha tells me. I ask her. I asked her, is anybody else doing this? Oh, she said, yeah, there are some other people doing this. I don't know if she's telling me the truth. But she said, Kerry, you're at the cutting edge of it. So if you want to be on the cutting edge, come join us. At the end of the video, you'll see a link in the description, and it will give you access to what we call our gold platform. Now, I don't want you to get into anything that you're not sure it's right for you. So I want to give you 14 days to come in, free trial, take a look at it, play with it, work with it, and go in, because everything that Samantha does for me, the 14-page document of the financial health, it's there. You click on a link and it shows up on your screen. And then if you don't want to read that much, 14 pages, I have a briefing. That's more like a 4 or 5 page document. And then I have a deep dive, and that's where Samantha and Bard do a podcast where they basically interchange and talk to you and tell you exactly what is in the 14-page document. But I honestly believe I can change your life. I had a gentleman this last week at our stock talk said, Kerry, I wasn't in the market and I wanted to be, and then I started listening to your videos, and you've made it fun. because it's fun making money, okay? It's not fun losing money. But I think I can help you. If I can, I want to, but that's up to you.